Okie dokie, artichokey. Hang on, where are we? You never know, baby. All right, what is up, everybody? Here we go now. We are live. Once again, hopefully the audio works. You never know with this microphone. Maybe we're having cord issues. Maybe it's Maybelline. You never know. But welcome back. We're back for Laying It Down with Big D. I, of course, am your host, Andrew Big D Morrow. It's never a consistent opening. There's no script around here. It's raw and uncut, as you know. But today, I'm joined by yet another player, and yes, we are going to continue talking to these players, it would seem. And one of my good buddies as well, somebody I got to spend a lot of time with in Kansas City last year at Frag 18, freshly minted ECL player, Simon Sharpie Taylor. Simon, how are you doing today, dude?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Big D.
Let's go, baby. Of course. I'm happy that you're here, and let's make sure that we're all recording here on this end with the recent episodes. We want to just double check everything. It's all going swimmingly, and guess what? It is. So I'm so glad you're able to join me here.
Let's go.
We're sitting here in the 11th hour before the grand finals of the Austin Major. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, I want to go back in time, Simon. Tell me a little bit about how you got into gaming originally, and then how you eventually landed on Counter-Strike.
It's kind of a big story, I guess. Like, I was introduced to games pretty young, thanks to my dad. Xbox, beginning of time was pretty much when my bad, my dog is going crazy. 1 second.
Yeah, I was gonna say, doggy's having a time over there. Yeah, Garcon, come here. This is Garcon.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know what was going on with him. I was gonna say, yeah, it started off with my dad showing me games, me and my brother. I am a younger brother, so that adds up to some, as in the main reason I think it landed on CS was my brother played it, and I always wanted to be better than him. So when it comes down to, like, wanting to play video games and stuff like that, I always just wanted to be better than my brother. And since he started playing CS, I was like, man, this is a game that, if I get good at, it would be cool. And it kind of started as that, right? I put some hours into the game, finally got to the point where I thought I was better than him, and then it turned out I was better than, like, everybody.
What year was this?
Well, I mean, dang, I don't know. I was 12, 13. This was back on, like, Source. And, like, so this was, like, maybe 20, I'm thinking, like, 2010-ish?
2010?
2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right before CSGO?
Yeah, pretty much before. Yeah, I think that's when I mainly started playing it. I did play it before, I think, back, like, 1.6 and Source before. Mainly, like, surfing and stuff like that. Nothing, like, crazy, right? But
that's the good stuff, though. That's
hella fun.
That's the gateway. Fun. That's the gateway to it.
I was gonna say that when I started playing CS, it was actually mainly the, like, community servers that brought me in, and I was playing a lot of, like, Warcraft mod and stuff like that. And it just happened to be that, me trying to get better at my brother at this game and playing on that server, it just turned out that I actually got pretty decent at the game at, like, aiming wise, right? So I switched over to, like, Face It, or, well, not even Face It, like CEVO at the time, and played in my first, like, CEVO Open and IM leagues and CEVO back when I was, like, 11 and 12. I was trying to do that. It was a lot of fun. I mean, starting back then, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was doing it for fun. It's crazy to think that that's how I started, but I mean, bring back CEVO is all I got. I don't actually mean that. I don't mean that at all.
Hey, you never know, baby. The scene could really use more stuff. Well, dude, I've talked about this plenty on this show, but I need, like, an overhead counter after I ask that question, because the answer inevitably somewhere always lies with, I had an older brother who I needed to be better at than Counter-Strike, or I played Minecraft and then started playing, and then all my friends jumped to Counter Strike together, and that seems to be like the two pipelines into Counter Strike that most people have. But yeah, I mean,
I mean, as an experienced player now in it, I don't see any other way you get into it because there's no way you get onto the game initially and you first play it and you're like, oh yeah, this game's so much fun because like you're so dog shit at it. You're so dog shit at it when you first play it that like there's no way that you're thinking this. It's not like COD where you run in there and you snipe four people from across the map and you're like, oh yeah, this is dopamine. You get in there and you get like shot 3 times and you're dead 3 rounds in a row and you're 0-3 and you're thinking to yourself, well, what do I got to do to get a kill, man? Like, so like I don't know. There's not like I feel like when you get into CS, there's no way you just hop on it for the first time and think, yeah, this is it. Like, there's got to be a reason to bring you in.
yeah. Well, and what you said you started in like some CEVO stuff. How long was it? What was the road from open to ECL for you?
Oh well, it's crazy. I've been chasing this ECL dream for like a minute. I say a minute. I'd say it's been over. I mean, somewhere around 6 to 8 years, honestly. Um, I've been everything called like a hard stuck main player. I've been hard stuck. I've been saying like people have been telling me I'm hard stuck main, hard stuck advanced player. I won't make it to ECL, whatever. Um, and it's kind of a crazy feeling because from all the times that I have had the chance to move up and thought like, oh, maybe this isn't the best step forward. It worked out because I inevitably did it right. Like I am in ECL for what it's worth. It pretty much started with me having fun with the game, and that's the joy of this game. I think took it a long way. I think that me actually enjoying playing the game is what brought me here. So I'm not saying that I don't like it anymore. I mean, I still enjoy playing it all the time. Still my favorite game by far. But what I'm getting at is that I don't think that if my willingness to improve wasn't always there, but my willingness to play the game was always there. And I think that's where some people, differ. And I'm not saying it's the best quality, but I can say easily that I've always wanted to play the game. So, from open to ECL, it started back in CEVO, way back when I just wanted to play the game, had no idea what to do. And I'm not going to say it's been a linear path up. I would say, what was this maybe now? Five seasons ago, which is relatively late in my career, I guess. I played in, just to give you a little bit of feedback, I played through Open, IM, Main, and then that was like my first 3 years of playing this game, really, like at the beginning of CSGO, pretty much. And then I stopped playing, came back, jumped into IM with friends, went up to Main, played in Main for I don't know how long. That's when I was getting called hard stuck Main, and I was just playing with friends, enjoying the game, and I didn't really like see a future in it because I didn't realize what was really possible. I guess I didn't open my eyes soon enough for that, and so I stayed in Main, just playing with friends. Really, I still play with them to this day, actually, like the other night. But what I'm getting at is I played with them for so long. Once that team kind of fell apart is when I really took my competitive gaming up a level. I moved out for college and I got into FPLC way back in the day. I was in rank G at the time on ESEA and I was getting like prize money, like ranking money through the ladder and stuff through that back when ESEA still did that. So I wouldn't say I was going to be like number one all the time, but I got number two, like fourth place, second place, third place throughout. And that's like, it gave decent prizes back then. I knew it was like different skins or money itself. So it was really nice. I was really sad to see that when they shut that down on USCA. But during that time, like me moving out for college, I was focusing on just like, I had my own apartment. Luckily, that was like during COVID. So like I couldn't stay in a dorm. So I had my own apartment and I was pretty much just going to school and gaming. And so you can imagine my schedule was like, I barely slept, went to school, played video games like all night, and like repeat. I kind of relied on some of the money I got from the prize pool for each week, like each ladder. I don't even remember how often they were. I think there were like different tournaments in between too you could play in. Uh, but yeah, I kind of relied on some of that money to just to like eat and stuff like that, which was really cool for me. I felt like I was making stuff happen in the game for myself. The first time that I've ever really experienced it, at least. And that was me still like kind of being in Maine, by the way. Like I didn't really play. I think I took a break that season after the team kind of my main team kind of fell apart, and then I don't know. I played in I think maybe when I came back after the whole ESCA thing died, and I was grinding that. And once I came back, I got on like another main team at the time, and this was with like Jackro, I think. Which shout out Jackro, he's a guy and a half. Um, Love that man. But this was a team with like Jackro, and then I played on that team for like 2 seasons, and we should have made advanced on that team, I think. Shout out Bat Speed. Guy hooked me up with a water bottle, bro. Look at this thing. Mm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That water bottle is sick.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's really nice. But I was on a team with them for a little bit, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that team helped me grow, more than I ever thought I could. I thought I was a pretty good player at that time, but it just showed me how much more room I have to grow. So, after that, I played on a few advanced teams. I went on like 2 seasons of advanced, and I had some pretty good stats. One I had like 80 ADR, and the other one I had like 90 some, and both times I just kind of got booted. Not really an explanation behind all of it, for at least one of them. And so I just kind of felt like what I was working for wasn't really in front of me. Like I felt like I was putting like a lot of work into those teams and or like for myself to like play as well as I could. And I just didn't feel like I was where I should have been, pretty much. I didn't feel like I was being heard or like wanted on a team for being kicked twice in a row kind of makes sense. But um,
Right.
especially one of those seasons we made playoffs and it was just kind of like, nah, we're not going to continue. And I'm like, oh, okay. So all I'm getting at is that I didn't feel like I was doing great there, so I stopped playing again. I took a whole season off, and I went back to playing. Um, I think it was like IM at the time with some friends again, and I played IM, and then I played in Maine again the next season because we made Maine. Then played Maine to
Hold that thought, folks.
yeah, sorry. And then so oh my god, my bad. I got distracted, lost train of thought.
You were in Maine
Um,
again.
yeah, and then I was in Maine again, and then I got on a few teams with some people I enjoyed, and one of them being his name's Sean, really good friend of mine.
Zen,
But yeah, that is Zen, and
shout out the boy. We'll have to get him on to laying
exactly
it down as well,
true,
dude.
true. That is a factual statement.
All these
Um,
people you're calling out.
yeah, I mean, I bet all of them would like to. I know Jackro and
Well,
Batspeed
Jackro
and
may or may not be scheduled and penciled in already in the next
okay,
episode after
maybe
yours. So
no, that's perfect. Yeah,
look for Jackro tomorrow.
yeah. I was about to say I know all these people would love to do this probably. I know that like I probably wouldn't be where I am, of course, right now with I don't think without like Sean or Jackro or Batspeed. I mean, all of them I've definitely laid pillars to me getting to ECL in a way that don't think I can return the favor in any way. But what I do want to say is that like that those times where like Sean technically introduced me to Nello. And then Nello got, now like I mean I hope people are a little up to date, but like, the co-owner of Take Flight with Saban and that's the team that I'm technically on right now that we just made ECL, right? So um, it's crazy how it all just adds up into one big thing, and then it unfolded like this. But yeah, I was on a team with Sean, a really good friend of mine named Gianni. He was also on the team, played with him for multiple seasons. But that's where Atomic comes from. Is with my boy Josh Hollow, and then and Sean. Gianni was on that as well, but that was a great roster, and that was Atomic though. That was when Nello first really took us out at a LAN. We made playoffs. We had HLTV. It was super cool, super cool. Um, really good memories on that, honestly. So, um, it's crazy just how everything is unfolded. And like I said at the beginning, it's not linear. At least not for me. I went from, playing the game for fun, just whatever. Went all the way to Maine, fell all the way back down, pretty much went to the advanced, got kicked twice off the advanced team, went back down, played the game some more, went from like IM to advanced again, and this time in advanced, I'm not saying that we got lucky. I think we all actually deserve the spot that we got in ECL. Um, Fire included. I don't know if we have the season we had without Fire. You know, yeah. I don't know that.
Yeah,
It's a crazy run. It's a crazy run in this advanced season. I'm not gonna lie. I
it.
thought, oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was just gonna say like, I thought that we've had better chances before, and I'm not saying that we got lucky or anything, but I'm just saying I think we had better chances before, and this was a great season out of us that shows it. I'm just hoping that like what really matters, I think, is this ECL Cup that's coming up that we have to play in, because I think that's what matters, really.
When is that? Do you know the dates?
I am not up to date on it. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, with me and the whole fire situation happening, as in, like, if like what the starting five is even on the roster, um, I've taken a huge step back in the fact that like I don't know what the plan is, to be honest with you. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm okay before moving forward, really.
Well, and I think that that's good. We're hoping that no matter what happens, for anyone that's not up to date, Sharpie was benched in February or March, but a few months ago, midway through the season, and Fire was picked up, and then midway through the playoffs, Fire had to leave, and Sharpie was benched as a sub. So then Sharpie stepped in for the playoffs, played multiple playoff series, played out of his mind to help carry the team through into the series and win the series to get the team into ECL. So right now, Sharpie's figuring out his options, and no matter what, we know we know growth isn't linear, as everything you just said, right? That's your entire story. So no
Exactly.
matter what happens, you're still growing and you're still expanding as a player. And I think whatever option you have, people are going to be really excited about, regardless about that. And that actually, I wanted to ask you, uh, what was it like being benched and then like coming back and having that huge redemption arc, and where is your head at right now with what your options are?
Well, you know, it's a crazy concept, especially, I mean, any hard esports player, any athlete, anybody that puts a lot of time into a certain craft, right? That, if I'm not saying it was out of the blue, a lot of the things personal were happening, as in like, uh, family, relationship, stuff like that. And it kind of got to a point to where, at the beginning of this, I said I started playing the game because I had fun with it. And it started to come to the point where I wasn't really having fun. I was not enjoying the game I was playing. And it not only affected my play style, but it affected the people around me, I think, to a point to where it was just not healthy. And, at the time, I definitely noticed that it was not the best. But, you don't really realize it until you come back um, and see how much, brighter it is on the outside of the house, once you step outside. Um, like for me, it was kind of came by a shock because, of personally, you know, being on the team, playing so well for what felt like, 2 seasons, I didn't feel like, one rough patch really should warrant a bench, but, you know, that's not up to me. And, I think it is for the better. Like, look at where it got us. Um, doesn't hurt any less, but it's still the right
Right.
call. So pretty much, it was kind of the management coming to me and just pretty much saying like, "Hey, we need to figure out what's best for you." And at that time, didn't really notice it, like didn't really think about it like that. I thought, I felt, a little bit more conflicted than just like them looking out for me. But like I said, it was definitely the right call. Like, I mean, I have much praise for Nello and Saban. Um, if they watch this, just know that
Oh,
Nello
they
is the
will.
goat. Yeah, Nello is the goat. Like I said, he like before Take Flight, it was Atomic, and like this guy, did everything he could for his players back then, and he's still doing it now. So really great guy. I, to be honest with you, my what is in the future for me, I'm not entirely sure. It's not like I want to stop playing CS. It's not like I have any will to stop playing CS. Um, but now I have that ECL ego. Like now I need to play an ECL, right? Well, I don't see that happening. Um, like two ways really is that like the two ways that I'm thinking is that like I go look for an advanced team, right? I could say like advanced plus, right, and say like I'm looking for ECL offers, but it's the same way that like I'll let you in a little secret. Moving up in leagues in CS and like in a community, right, is not really um, stat paper. Like you can't do it off stats. You don't really do it off anything other than I'd say a lot of it is like connections. If you've played with somebody, if you know somebody, they like you, you're friends, you're probably getting on the team. Now, if they don't know you and like, they have nothing else to go by other than stats, then yeah, they'll probably go with that. But what I'm getting at is that, for me personally, even with like, going into main playoffs for multiple seasons, 90, 180 R in those seasons, it took me a while to get into advanced because I didn't have any advanced XP, like advanced experience. Like I didn't play in advanced for like a whole seasons or something like that. So once I finally got an advanced season, they look at those stats and like, oh, okay, well you got advanced XP. I guess you can play. Yeah, we'll give you a shot. And it's kind of weird how people need to see these stats or need to see like a certain something to pick you up. And the fact that I'm not saying it's like normal to have ECL experience, but the fact that I don't think an ECL team is going to be reaching out to me for a tryout. You know what I mean? So what I'm getting at is that the main goal here is like, what is the best step forward? And I've been trying to think about it. Um, with staying on the team as a sub, trying to figure out my place there, if there is a place for me there, or trying to figure out, what the best step forward is, if that be finding a different advanced team and trying to make it work with them. Um, it's weird because the gripe I have with that battle is that I feel like I've done it so many times now, gone to an advanced team, you know, tried to make it work, and like I don't know, it just sounds weird. Like I've put all my eggs in this basket, kind of with Take Flight. Like before Nello was even there, I got this team together. Well, I didn't really per se. You know, I guess like Chad and George have been a core. Panic joined in a little bit after, and like other players have just been rotating through. So like was I fighting Ben to get back and talk to Chad and George at the beginning of that season so like they wouldn't disband and like I would play on it? Yeah, I was begging Panic to get on that team because I was like, dude, these guys are good. Like we can make a team out of this. We start playing that first season. We like go into playoffs without even like a real coach. Like before Brandon was along, shout out our amazing coach. Like we got this team. Like I was begging. Like anyways, I was begging Panic to get back together with them and like harping on him to like we'll find a fifth, we'll make it work. We finally get Josh JPP at the time. He was a great fifth for us like mentally, and we were cooking. And I saw the prospects in this team, and I feel like maybe even if I didn't per se build it, I was working it, man. I was working those gears. I was turning it. I was making sure everything was proper. And then I told Nello about it. This was when Nello had like an ECL team and didn't know if he wanted to really go back, like because Nello dropped us from Atomic at the time, and that was like 3 seasons before, or maybe like four actually, maybe like 4 seasons before. Oh no, three. It was about three. Anyways, and he already joined up with Take Flight, and this is when they had the ECL team. And then I was talking to Nello. I was like, "Yo, bros, this team right here is the one you'll want." And I didn't lie. They made ECL, we made ECL. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm happy that I was right about that one. But I felt like I put so much effort, so much just gusto into that roster that right now I don't want to do it again. And that sounds so bad, but it's just kind of true. Um, and like at the same time, this is gonna sound like stingy, but I want to play this game. I want to go to lands. I want to, you know, have a team that cares as much as I do about this game. And I haven't truly found that before this team. And Nello bringing Nello into this makes it 10 times easier, right? Like you get the fact that Nello is coming along and low key making ends meet to get to the lands, right? Paying for the airfare or shoot taking us out there or like, paying for the whole tournament itself, at the land. Um, doing these things that make it possible for me to go to a land because um, I personally do not have a lot of money to go to lands. So him making it possible is just that much more crazy, and that's why I'm so reluctant to just go find a different team because I already know that you know it's not like there's many NA orgs out there that are really hyping up for the small guy. I mean, I know we just made ECL, so we're not really the small guy anymore. I'm used to being in the advanced player, right? But at the same time, like, you know, is that still where I am? Because technically, I'm not on the starting five of this roster. Uh, I feel like maybe I don't deserve ECL, right? I need to prove it to myself and everybody else that I need to go through advanced again. That might be what needs to happen. I don't know. I wish I had more of a clear path or what I could tell you about what I wanted to do moving on. But I still feel like it's up in the air. So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing all that in depth, and yeah, I mean, it's got to be really tough. Like you said, the even knowing that, looking back and knowing it's the right thing, or even if you kind of feel in the back of your mind at the time that it's the right thing, it doesn't make it hurt any less. Like you're human, you put, especially when you're as passionate about the game as you are. But that is what has helped drive you to succeed to ECL and to get here. This cat is insistent on being a part of the conversation here.
The cute cat.
He is a really cute cat. He's a good kitty. I love him. But he's really got crazy timing. But I mean, just like something to keep in mind during this time, too, Simon. Just keep this phrase in your mind: rest, don't quit. You know what I mean? It's
No,
a
that's valid. Yeah, that's valid.
because you don't have to have all the answers, but also just don't give up because you do have a desire and a passion, and you're landable, and you perform at LAN like you do online. You're not just somebody who has these spurts online and a good team around him. You're a very crucial part to that to any core. So I know good things will happen for you in the future, and yeah, I just appreciate you sharing all that with us. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
let's we've talked about Simon now. Now I want to hear in his story. I want to hear Simon's thoughts on what are the issues that plague North American Counter Strike in your mind, and what can it do to get back on the world stage and
This is
get
gonna
on
sound
top.
really ironic, and I don't mean this as a shot at my teammates, at my org, or anything, but I
Uh
do
oh.
feel like a big problem with NA is just that they teams don't stick like at least for like smaller teams. Not like I'm not talking about like tier one teams, even. If you want my honest opinion on tier one teams, I feel like there's just a skill gap, bro. NACS is just not there. We don't care like the Europeans do, bro. Like there's no donks coming out of the NA. Okay, I'm just saying it now. Like I wish I could be the next donk, but
Could
one, I'm
be.
not young enough. Two, he's
Never know.
cracked, bro. He's cracked. Like I'm
You
just
never
saying it right
know. The
now.
D could stand
Yeah,
for big donk.
you're you're right.
I could be
You're right.
waiting to come alive. Age
But what
40, 5 more years. Look out.
but what I was originally getting at is that like I think that like main advanced teams, people that like share the passion, you know, I feel like some people lose the sight at the end of the tunnel and they want to switch it up because something isn't working. And don't get me wrong, sometimes a roster change is the move, but I do feel like in an ACS, people just give up way too easily. Like if it be in Pugs, if it be in Team CS, it's all over the board. I feel like in an A, the biggest gap that we have, the biggest skill difference that we have is our mentality. 100%. Like, yeah, just watching like a mythic game, right? And you're watching like, something happened and you hear highs in the back of them, you go, hey, guys, it's okay, let's go. Like, we're fine, let's go. And you're just like that EU mentality come in, and it's just like rosters them to like have a huge comeback on like Anubis. I remember it during playoffs, like this season actually. I don't think they actually went that far, but it was like their second round of playoffs, and it was great to see that like they lost a crucial round, like a 5v3 or something that they should not have lost, and people were down about it. But I swear the mentality in an A is just it's so bad, it's so bad. But
Is that
yeah,
it?
um, I mean,
I know you
I
got
think that's the main
more
thing.
thoughts.
I mean, yeah, like you're talking about.
I didn't mean to rudely say, is that it?
No, you're fine. I mean, I'm gonna say that's the biggest thing. Is that like that's the one that always comes up. There are other things that are like plaguing, and like a big thing that was happening earlier and still is happening is like I got plus 28 elo today on Faceit for a Smurf, or like a month or 2 months ago when the ban wave happened, you have like realized that all these people are cheating in NA, and like there are more cheaters in NA. So that's one thing. I love the game, but I do feel like part of it is on the people that make the game too. Like I'm not saying this is like an NA problem, but I feel like some people in NA, like I said, the mentality thing, and like some people harp on like Valve and like the people that make the game so much that it hurts them too. Um, I guess that kind of ropes in the mentality, but the biggest thing I think other than that is accessibility. Like I said, there's a lot of clicks in ACS. There's a lot of like if I know them, I'm good. If I don't know them, well, I'm fucked. Um, and that's a really big problem I think too. Sometimes a lot of people get overlooked or not looked at all because you know they've never heard of them or they think they're just some shitter, and like the ego is through the roof on some players because they think they're the best thing that's ever touched the game. And like I wish that I could just tell players that the big difference between an ego and confidence is like the only thing stopping them from being the like actually the best player in the server. If they realize how to do something confidently versus them with an ego, they would actually, win the round or win the game, you know? And I feel like a lot of people in NA lack the difference between that, and it hurts them because they think, oh, I'm just the best player, let me just run up and kill them, versus like, oh, confidently like setting up a plan and doing it because, well, you're better, versus like thinking you are, Yeah. Uh,
No,
that's a
no,
big
I
problem with an A.
no, I can understand that. I mean, and I think that that's not something exclusive to like the top levels of competitive Counter-Strike. I think that that's something that is that's like a cultural mindset, right? Like that's just in our
Yeah.
region from top to bottom. It
Yeah.
just gets worse the further down that you go. You know what I mean? Like
No,
you
that's
should
true.
listen to how some like silver players will talk to each other. I mean, I'm in Iron League right now, as you know, and I'm just having fun. But like, I read the all chat and I listen to these players like point at each other and talk to each other about how bad and terrible they are, and I'm like, do you know
We're
where
all in
you
the
are
same
right
lobby,
now?
buddy.
Like,
We're
what are
all in the
you
same
right?
lobby.
And it's the same thing at the top. Like when I do hear the players that like get nasty with each other, I'm like, what are you doing? Like we haven't
Mm-hmm.
won shit in this country, this region. We need to like be unified right now.
Yeah.
Like lift each other up, help each other out, get good practice in during your scrims. Like get stuff going. Like I don't know. I just think that we need to do more propping up as well, and strip a lot of that ego. I think more importantly, I think what you said is that can be helpful out of that is because a lot of people complain about the mentality but don't like offer any solution. But I think what
Mhm.
you said, there is a solution in like being able to kind of like work on it, is understanding the difference between ego and confidence. You can
Yeah,
play with confidence, and you should play with confidence. You need to do that. You need to play like everybody else is on dog shit on the server, right?
exactly.
The way you communicate with your teammates, the way that the decision making that you make in the game needs to like not be centered only
Oh
around
yeah.
you. Like that's where the difference lies. So
See,
yeah.
like one big thing about me, and like I'm not gonna say that I haven't yelled like at LAN, especially like, "Oh, let's fucking go!" Like
Yeah,
especially
dude,
some
that's a
shit like
war cry.
that.
You got to let it
Yeah,
out.
exactly. But for me as a player, I'm not saying this should be for everybody, and I'm not saying this is the way to be. But I wish more people let their gameplay speak for them versus letting them type on the server. Like I don't know how many times some person on the enemy team's talking some shit, like about me even, and like I just don't even respond, and then like the next round I get like a 4K, and like just like think about like let them ponder and sit in that, like I wish more people just played the game and let that speak for itself versus like them typing and trying to get a point across on the enemy team or something like that. Because I think it does worlds of work if like, you're internally pissed at somebody for doing something and like they're just not even noticing you. They're just playing the game, shitting on you and like next game, GG go next. Like not even a thought in my brain, you know.
Yeah, actions
But
speak louder than words.
for sure, for sure.
These are deeply philosophical and spiritual episodes that we get to do here when we have these conversations. You learn a lot and can grow as a person, especially
Oh yeah.
if you put it into practice. Well, um, yeah, I think that's pretty grand. All right, well, I've got a couple more questions here for you. We're just kind
Yeah,
of
I'll try to
spaced
I'll
out
try to
there.
keep No, you're good. I'll try to keep it a little bit more tame in the
No.
answers.
Oh no, not at all, dude. This is gold.
Okay, bet.
This is good stuff. I'm enjoying this. And I'm sitting here thinking about where we're gonna go watch the major, because you're not disappearing on me. I'm coming to watch the major with you, but I might have to drag you over to my friend's Discord. So these are the
Okay.
thoughts running through my brain as well
Got you.
right now. Anyway, my question for you before I ask my last couple of questions are, uh, how how important is being able to like how much of a difference maker in like your growth as a player was did going to LAN make? Does that question make sense?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So never before in my life have I been in a room. Okay, like you go to Comic Con and everybody in that bitch is so excited to be there because that's where they want to be. They spent their money. More than that, they've thought about it. They've planned it. They've got a whole costume. Whatever. The same vibe when you go to LAN. Almost like everybody has hundreds of dollars in their backpack of everybody's gear. You're playing on some of the best rigs that you can. Hopefully, they don't cheap out on you, and you're all playing the game that hopefully you love, right? So never before have I ever been in a period of my life where everybody in the same building had like that energy for the game, and oh my gosh, I loved it. Like that's the reason that I said like I'm so hesitant to like leave this team with Nello is because I don't see myself like paying for all this stuff to go to a LAN with like teammates that I'm not fully confident in, one, but two, like I'm having to pay for all of it. Like that sounds stingy as hell, but it's just kind of the truth. Like I don't know.
It's expensive.
It's super expensive, and like
Yeah, that's why
Nello makes that
everybody that's there is stoked to be there when
exactly
they're
that
there with
too.
their friends.
Yeah, and if I had a whole group of friends or like a group of ex teammates that I wanted to go with or like something like that, I would so do it. I've done it in the past, like without Nello's support, so like it's not like I wouldn't. It's just that, you know, going to those lands where you have a solid five, you've been playing, it makes it that much better because the hype going into it, you don't know where you'll end. You know, you could make it to the grand finals of that thing. And that's what gets me so hyped about it is like playing with a team at a venue, getting hyped, looking down the row, that fist bumps at land trademark, it's nothing else is like it really. You know, you get that type of hype from I'm assuming um, you know, lands. I don't know. I don't get that I don't get that from playing online. I'll tell you that much. I've won tournaments online. I've won leagues online. You know, I made ECL and it was cool. It was great. But like, LAN is like still like if I won a grand tournament on LAN would be like 10 times better than like, making that ECL low key. Well, I don't know, but I'm thinking in the moment it would be. No, for now it feels great making ECL. It's just that like I feel like the dopamine rush and the hit would have been harder at LAN.
I think it would just because of the facts like you're there with your teammates celebrating in person and like that vibe is going around each other and through each other, right? Like everybody's excited together and so it's escalating rather than like we made ECL and you like look around your room and you're like, oh, nobody's here, who cares, you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
like
Exactly. Like I went
like
to go tell my brother and he was like, "Oh, cool."
yeah,
I was like, "Thanks."
right.
Thanks. Uh,
All right. Well, here's my last couple of questions here for you. One, where does the name Sharpie come from?
um, it's funny actually. I started with like Sharp and at the time there was like some pro at like 1.6 I was playing named Sharp and I didn't realize it at the time. But that was also the time where like I was playing and I still had Sharp for a while actually throughout some of my rank G stuff on ESEA, and people were thinking that like I was him, and I was like, oh god, I can't do this. So I was like, then I just changed it to Sharpie, and then you know I there's been a few times where I thought about changing my name, and it's funny, I've actually been just making my name Simon now for what it's worth, like. On like the tournament that we just signed up for on the team like it was off some third party and I just made my name Simon instead of Sharpie. um I actually don't really have a like I don't know I love the name Sharpie because I feel like it's a marker and I get comments about that all the time, so like it's kind of just convenient. um, but like I really don't have that much of a connection to it. I don't think that like I would personally change my name, but like I don't have any big like I know a lot of people be chasing their name on like Face It. They're like, oh, I need my name, I need my alias, but I'm not that big behind it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love it, but you know, um, not
Most
much
people
thought
know you
became
as
behind it.
Simon.
Yeah, like I mean, like on my team, like on Take Flight, everybody would just call me Simon, but that's also because like we 3 seasons of playing, gone to like 2 lands, together. So, um, really tight knit group there. I mean, Fire just came along, and there were people are. Oh, well, I don't want to name drop him, but already calling him his first name. So yeah.
Well, he's on HLTV now, I believe. So,
Oh, yeah, then yeah. I mean, everybody already called him Colton, right? So like, just a tight knit group over there. All like family. It's really nice. That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
That's also one another reason why I'm so. They haven't totally told me, hey, you're fucking dog shit. We don't want you here. Leave. You know what I mean? So like, just kind of taking it day
yeah,
by day, kind of.
things are still up in the air. So
Yeah.
stay tuned, folks. We'll keep you apprised. All right. Well, here's my last question for you. And this is you can keep it about Counter Strike or esports or life in general. But if you could talk to a younger version of yourself or the next generation out there, what would be some advice you would give them? Like if you could s- speak about anything.
Um, you know, it's kind of cliche, but do what makes you happy. Like I think that like even personally, I did some things because I thought it was the right thing to do, or I felt like it was better than the other options, even though maybe it wasn't my favorite thing to do. And I think that, if you put your best foot forward with whatever you do, you'll end up finding something you like or enjoy doing something of it more than even if you thought that the other option was like better for you or had a different opportunity. Like, um, there were multiple times where I would like step back and I'd think, oh, well, I could take a break from CS and not do it. But like then I would miss out on like multiple opportunities that I've had now, either if it be like making money from the game or if it be meeting like a literal shit ton of people throughout my life that I would never have before if I didn't, play the game. Um, so like making sure you do what you like is very important. And then the only other thing that I have to say is don't waste your time, man. There are times where I thought that, I'm okay where I'm at. And, you're okay, like, you're happy with it. But I think the more you look back on it, you don't want to be complacent with where you're at. You always want to be, trying to not move forward, but just grow, trying to be a better you. And I think that's important to do, especially if you have a potential or career in, esports or anything. If it be streaming, you're stuck inside, for multiple hours a day doing something. You gotta make sure that you're still working on yourself and improving. So that's the biggest thing I'd say. I think a lot of people lack that low key, and it shows with the mentality in NA. I think it all wraps back together that a lot of it comes to the fact that you don't work on yourself, and then it shows in the game. But that's just my opinion again. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it back, and I think that's wise advice. And as a matter of fact, Nello gave the same advice at the end of his episode of laying
Oh,
it down. So
hell yeah.
he said, "Do what makes you happy. Don't miss those opportunities." So I think that's good advice. And Simon, I appreciate you coming on. Do you have any like plugs or shout outs that you want to give out before we say goodbye?
Yeah. I got one. Shout out my boy Richard. Hopefully you can get him on here one day. Um, it's funny because he's one of the few people that I've played with that he genuinely loves the game. He's only played it for like, I don't know, like seriously, like for a year and a half, bro, maybe. And he's been tanking. He's been tanking, like not in a bad way, but he's just been tanking it. Like he's just been grinding. And it's great to see like that like kind of relatively new player coming in and like having that will for the game. I just like haven't talked about him at all during this whole time, and I brought up like my ex teammates Take Fly and Jack Rowe and everybody. So I just wanted to make sure he got some word in here. That's all.
Hell yeah! All right, dude. Well,
Yeah,
shout
thanks
out
for having me,
Momo.
Big B.
Of course, dude. All right, let's go. Let's go watch these grand final. Oh yeah, wait,
Hell
real
yeah.
fast. Who's gonna win, Vitality or Mongols?
Look, let's be honest, bro. Mongols just down is like on the down, and Vitality's just gonna win it. Like, let's just be honest. They got Zebu and Apex, bro. Like,
Yeah, and Rops now too, and that Messi and if I mean, there's just five players that are all goaded at their roles. There's kind of no stopping them. So,
yep.
all right, let's go watch. I will see you guys later. Thank you all for watching. Okay.